Hello, it's Sunday, June 25, 2023, and this is Cancer Update 12. My subscriber numbers have really jumped in the last 48 hours, and I know it's because of Cancer Update 10 and 11, particularly Cancer Update 11. So firstly, I want to say thank you to those subscribers that have recently added themselves. I realise that it's very much my cancer journey videos that have attracted you rather than my previous car videos. I get that. And I also want to thank you for the people that have wished me well and wished me prayers. So I thought I'd make a video today about religion because the people have been commenting have been making comments that have religious language in it, like "you are in my prayers" and things like that. So I just want to lay all the cards out on where I stand on religion, just so that we can have a really good time of this. I love those comments. Please keep those comments going and keep them relevant to you. So if you are of the Christian belief and you want to say, I will pray to Jesus for you, say that. If you're Buddhist and you say, I will pray to Buddha for you, I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with all religions that are okay and tolerant of other religions. So to give you an example of a religion I would not be cool with is a religion that says you're either one of us or you're lost, you're the enemy. I don't dig those religions. They tend to be extremist fundamental religions. And when I say that, I don't want you to hear fundamental Christian only, because fundamental Christians, man, they've got some problems. But fundamental Jews, fundamental Muslims, fundamental Buddhists, any of those that say, if you're not one of us, you're lost and you're a bad person, I'm not cool with them. Apart from that, and that, you know, what I'm talking about there is maybe, I don't know, 2% of religions are the bad ones. There's probably 98% of religions I'm totally fine with. And to put it into one sentence, I'm fine with tolerant religions, okay? Now, in terms of my own religious experience, I grew up in a Christian family in Perth, Western Australia. Particularly the sub-branch of Christianity was Uniting Church, and the sub-branch of Uniting Church was Methodist. And even then you can see that, you know, Christianity is not as simple as Christianities. There are, nations and states and nationalities within what we call Christian. So I grew up in a Christian family. Both my mother and father were born Christians and were buried as Christians, and I'm really fine with that. In terms of where I stand, I'll tell you about one thing that happened in about 1984, maybe, when I was about 14 years old. My mother, I think I was 15, because I think I was just about to turn 16. My mum said to me, all right, Paul, you're old enough to make your own decisions. Do you want to keep going to Sunday school, to going to church on Sundays? And I immediately said, no, it's not for me. It doesn't sit with me. My mum immediately started backpedaling and going, but, and all of this kind of stuff. And in the end, my mother and I came up with a compromise. And the compromise was that I would go to church on Easter and Christmas. And that was that happy compromise that we found. So then you have to wonder, why wasn't it that I didn't carry on with my Christian journey? And the reason was, and by the way, I'm just speaking my own truth. Your truth is your truth. But my situation was, I have a very analytic mind and I have a very science-based mind. And the stories that were being told to me just didn't quite resonate with me. I don't want to bag Christianity, right? Because I'm totally cool if that's what you are. From my personal point of view, you know, it starts out with a story of a talking snake, and there's Adam and Eve, which is a story of betrayal and honor versus betrayal, and good versus evil, and the story of Christianity carries on, and it actually ends up relatively bleak. You know, the Bible is I've read the Bible, by the way. It's a bleak read. And it didn't it just didn't really gel with me. And I, in deference to the condition I'd made with my mother, I kept going to church on Easter and Christmas. I made a contract with my mother, so I kept the contract. And then when I, got older again, I stopped going to church altogether. And I now find myself in an end-of-life situation, and as they say, there are no atheists in foxholes. And you do start to ponder religion when you are genuinely facing your own mortality. So I have obviously been giving it a lot of thought. My religion is a Cartesian Yetzist. Now, I know you're not going to know what both of those words mean, Cartesian Yetzist. I have actually written a story about it and how I came to that position of feeling that way. It's on a platform called Substack that I write short stories on. I'm going to post a link to that story below, but I want to give you a warning. If you want to know my religious beliefs, just read the story that is in the link that I post. Because that story is episode 12, and that's about my views on religion. If you want to know my complete origin story, go and read episodes 1 through to 11, and then read 12. I'm going to leave that up to you. I will give you this warning though. Episodes 1 to 11 are going to be challenging for some of you. They essentially evolve around me in the 1990s in the nightclubs of Northbridge, and Northbridge is the nightclub district of Perth. They involve drugs and sex and friendships and honour and all kinds of things that went into my origin story. So just to recap, if you want to know my views on religion, just read episode 12 and leave it at that. If you want to know my full origin story, read all 12 episodes. So then by the end of that, you'll understand what a Cartesian Yetzis is. And that is my religious belief. And beyond that, I would simply say I'm religiously tolerant. My eldest brother, David, is a Baha'i. And one thing I love about the Baha'i faith is it's core to their religion that they are tolerant of other people's religion. And whilst I'm personally not a Baha'i, I respect that about them so much. That's not just the way a religion should be, that's the way a person should be. Be respectful that other people are going to be different to you. That just seems nice. Let's just be like that. There is one Christian concept that I want to talk about, and I'm saying Christian concept only because I'm ignorant as to the details of various other religions. It may well be, in fact, I dare say it is the case that it is part of other religions. I want to talk about the Christian concept of heaven and hell. And I want to relate that to something I've talked about in some previous videos. I talk about it in Cancer Update number 1. I also talk about it in How to Magnetize a Screwdriver, of all places. And it is the concept of eternal influence or immortal influence. And it leads on to my Cartesian Yetzis beliefs that, maybe heaven and hell don't exist in the way they're described in the Bible as being a place of fire and brimstone and sulphur, but maybe there is some truth in it, and maybe it's a truth that I can describe to you in terms now that won't rely on words like you've just got to believe. Okay, so just let me try and do that. I don't want to talk you out of your view of what heaven or hell might be. I just want to give you maybe another angle to think about it. So, and it ties in with that concept of immortal influence. Let's talk about Adolf Hitler. Now, he was an evil, evil man. And I think we can all agree that even though he is well and truly dead now, his evil influence lives on to this day. There are, there was millions of people then. So if you think about how many children those millions of people that were exterminated would have had by now, those are the people we're missing in the world now. And the lack of them is going to go all the way to eternity. So in that way, Hitler has had immortal influence in this world, not an imaginary heaven or hell. I'm talking about this world. Now, just think about it. Maybe that is what hell is. Maybe hell is how you are remembered here. Okay? So let's talk about what heaven might be. And I'm not going to present myself as an anti-Hitler or some kind of saint. I'm not. I'm a relatively nice guy, but I'm not the next Messiah. I'm just a guy that's done some nice things. And I want to relate it back to a video that I encourage you to go and watch, which is a video about 7 videos back called How to Magnetize a Screwdriver. And in that video, I show you how to magnetize a screwdriver using a magnet. And I discuss in it that my father taught me how to do that. And my father passed away 26 years ago. And yet 26 years after he's passed away, I'm able to show you how to magnetize a screwdriver, and you can then go and teach someone else, and they can teach someone else, and that can carry on forever. And by the way, my dad didn't invent how to magnetize a screwdriver with a magnet. Someone taught him, and they're somewhere back there in history. So you have to wonder, hey, someone back there and everyone that passed on that good thing is now in a chain of immortal influence. What if that is actually the concept of heaven, is in this world, not some imaginary other world? And what it is how you're remembered. That sticks with me because I can logically rationalise that with my analytic scientific mind and go, yep, I do follow that. I do see that Hitler's influence does does carry on forever through, what do they call it? Sliding doors, butterfly effect, movement going forwards. And I can also see that me teaching how to magnetise a screwdriver, or equally me just doing something nice, me making an instructional video, or maybe me having a nice chat with you now, maybe that's going to influence you. You're going to influence someone else. They're going to influence someone else. And that goes all the way to infinity, all the way to the end of mankind. Maybe that's what heaven is. And because even with my rational, analytic, scientific mind, the fact that I can see how that works makes me think that probably most people can see how that works. And I haven't had to use words like you just have to believe or you just need faith. I think I'm explaining that in a way where you can go, I completely see how that works. So that's my views on heaven and hell. And now you have my views on religion, and you have a link to a story where I describe what Cartesian Yetsism is. So it's been my pleasure to bring you Cancer Update 12. It's a lovely day outside here in Perth today, and I'm going to get out and get some sun. I'll talk to you later. Hi there, it's me again. I had an epiphany after I turned off the camera, and I want to share it because I just think it's interesting. It occurred to me that and I can only speak about the Christian view because that's the one I was brought up in and I'm most familiar with, but it may apply to other religions. The Christian view of heaven and hell is that we live in a 3-dimensional world here, and there is another 3-dimensional place called heaven, another 3-dimensional place called hell. Now, it just occurred to me after I turned the camera off that what I've actually just described is no. This is the only 3-dimensional world, the one we live in here. What you have to consider is the 4th dimension, and the 4th dimension is time. So in fact, heaven is you in this world after you're gone, but it's here. and it's heaven would be you being remembered well, and hell is in this world how you are remembered going forward in time, which means Hitler is in hell, and as long as I'm remembered well, I will be in heaven. It just occurred to me after I turned the phone off, and I find it a really satisfying thought. So I thought I'd share it with you. So there you go. I'll see you next time.